Yes! Yes! The Walking Dead after show. You know why we saying yes. You know why we saying yes. Anyways, I'm your host, Sue Castillo. And as always, my awesome host extraordinaire, Timothy Michael. And we've got Michael Tiberi. And we are all just as happy as you are that Glenn is alive.
Glenn is alive.
Yeah. Glenn is alive. We knew it.
I told you.
I mean,
Just
it's not a big surprise.
Everybody told everybody. Let's be
Everybody.
honest here.
Yeah, everybody
there
called
was no
it.
like one person that was like, it's true. Glenn is alive.
I mean, I'm kind of mad that they like strung it on for like that long. I mean, it was like, okay, well, is he gonna be dead or is he gonna be alive? Like, make up your mind. Like, I feel like they strung it on a little too long.
Yeah.
For this cliffhanger.
Especially when the fans are so dedicated that we are looking at aerial shots. We're like Da Vinci Code.
Zooming in on screenshots.
They took his name out of the credits too, right? Like they
Yes.
really went out of the way to try and make it look like he was not coming back.
Yeah, but the believers of Glenn and The Walking Dead knew, like, you could Jedi mind trick us all you want to. We know that dumpster is like 3/4 higher than regular dumpsters. I mean,
We were some crusading? The Glennonites? What do you call it?
The Glennonites? I guess so. I told you Korea were going to riot if that man was dead. But yeah, so Glenn is alive, and he did crawl under the dumpster, and that's how he... But man, when he popped up out that dumpster, and we saw that poor boy's chapped lip, you knew he was under there for quite some time before Enid heads up, as the title of the episode is called.
Yeah, a lot of people were speculating how he would get out of the dumpster, and I think that was, people were like, oh, he's gonna be taken hostage, he's gonna get rescued. I kind of liked that whole, because we talked about it in like 2 episodes ago, that how Walking Dead is playing with time and stuff like that, how they kind of signified time with, you know, the dehydration and the walkers like going one by one away and stuff like that. I thought that was cool.
Yeah, it was.
They kind of just forgot about him.
I mean, because, well, the walkers started to go away because remember that little can, that little tin can kind of rolled out, and then
Is that what it was?
Yeah, and one of the walkers went to it, and then for some reason the other
all
walkers
just
were
followed.
like, oh, that person under the dumpster? No, go to the can.
Yeah, like legit, they're like, I don't know, you say like a little kids, or like you could say like animal, like they can, it's something so simple, they were like, like everywhere following them. But it also like kind of made me mad when Enid when she threw down the water bottle, like heads up, but didn't even give him a chance. It was like, what? Like, that wasn't fair.
Yeah, and then she follows it up with like, I said heads up. No, Enid, the rule of heads up, okay, is you say heads up, you 1 Mississippi, 2 Mississippi, and then you chuck it. You let heads up rest in the person's mind.
And if you even want to throw it, let's just talk about that for a second. If you just want to throw the water bottle, don't even give me a heads up, but at least put a cap on the damn thing.
Yeah, did she throw an open bottle?
Yeah,
like,
he had 40 days in the desert, Jesus style, and was so thirsty. Moses, whatever, one of them.
Yeah. Well, so Enid grabs Glenn's attention, and then he crawls through that window, right? And he's just like, ugh, he made that noise. But he walked right past some stairs that led upwards, and I was like, wait a minute. I got into a Twitter conversation with somebody about this. I was like, where the hell them stairs come from? Nicholas, y'all didn't spot that? And somebody said, well, there was stuff in front of the stairs that was blocking it. And I'm like, listen, you saw... No. I don't care how much stuff is blocking it. You can,
those stairs
get through.
were built after he went under the dumpster.
Right.
I felt like it.
That's when those stairs came in. Somebody came in and built them.
So we finally see where Enid's been this whole time that she took off after she's, gave Carl her Dear John papers of JSS, and and then so we see that. So we see where she's been staying through Glenn's eyes, and then her taking off. Not answering him, and then Glenn having that moment of, do I go after her? And he's like, no, I'm going home. And he goes the other way, which is, I mean, as we all know, Glenn, like, he normally doesn't ever make that kind of decision ever, and he went the other way. So I felt like that was a monumental moment.
Well, because he was worried about Maggie, and that's why he was asking her, is Maggie okay? And then she never answered him, like this mind... Whatever, I was so annoyed with her. And then, like, she just leaves. I'm like, all you had to say was yes or no. Like, that's all I wanted. So then it's like, I think he just wanted to go find out if Maggie was okay.
Right, because he also then mentions later, because the walkers, the herd had split off and more are coming.
Which is like Enid didn't know.
Yeah, and Enid didn't know. So he's like, oh, sense of urgency, I'm going to go the other way. And then we see Rick having the conversation with Maggie on the wall. And Maggie been on that wall for a minute. I mean,
loyal.
Aaron, where'd you go? You went and took a nap? Well,
He's got to
Maggie's
go spend
looking.
time with his boo. God.
He is. I mean, he had to. They were both disappeared in this episode. We didn't see either of them. But yeah, so Maggie has that conversation with Rick and about looking for signs and the hoping, and I'm glad that she held on. And then we flash back to Glenn trying to make his way to Alexandria, and then we come across, I don't remember his name, but it was obviously the husband that was married to Betsy who wrote that,
Yeah.
goodbye note. But now I just call him Sticky-Eyed Walker because that was so nasty.
so
like
gross.
it was just on it. It was like those cheese sticks that you just peel off. Sorry, I ruined cheese sticks, but yeah, that's what it reminded me of. And then Glenn picks up that letter and decides, I got to go back for Enid. Would you have done that? Would you have gone back for Enid?
No.
Not the way she threw that water bottle at me. Like, are you kidding
You're
me?
upset about the water bottle.
Yeah.
I'm upset about the non-answering questions. I'm like, all you have to say is yes or no. Just give me a damn answer.
Yeah, while you're running, you could.
And then on top of which,
Yes.
I'm dehydrated. You making me run after your ass? No.
That's
So bad.
That's true. But you know what? It's like I don't know. I think if it was me, as much as Enid annoyed me, I know a lot of
Agreed.
people are going to be like 50-50. Like either they're like, well, it's a child.
75-25.
I mean, Enid annoyed me. But at the end of the day, all I thought was like, this is a child, and she didn't have her parents to really steer her right through this whole thing like Carl had Rick, And so I feel like if Carl didn't have Rick, and I mean, I say Rick, not Lori, because Lori, holy crap, Lori was never there for the rearing.
Yeah.
But I feel like Carl could have been an Enid had he lost his father early on like Enid did, So
I just don't think that we could use the whole they're just children as an excuse anymore because they've been forced to grow up really fast and it's your mentality kind of kicks in whether you're a child or not to your surroundings and
Yeah.
I just can't give that kind of excuse. But speaking of Lori, when Maggie and Rick were having that conversation about Judith on the wall and she's like, I saw Judith the other day and she started to, and I was like, what, walk? Talk? Is she gonna do something? She's like, starting to look like Lori, and I was like, you bitch. That's all she's doing?
I was like, Maggie must have borrowed your contact lenses when you thought, what's his face was Ryan Gosling. I mean,
Hey, I got some agreements
yeah.
on that. Thank you.
no.
Thank you for my agreed fans.
Aw, that's because they're kind. They felt bad. Now, but Judith looks like Lori. No, she doesn't. That girl got
No.
ginger hair.
No.
She got ginger hair.
I just need her to do something.
Yeah, she needs to do something.
She needs to be useful, is there something
Yes.
Judith does?
Yeah. Be bait or something. I don't know.
You go from Enid to now Judith. We're just attacking everybody, all the kids in this show now.
All the kids
like
are
you're
getting picked
all
off.
useless.
Oh,
We
no.
don't care, Enid, that your parents are dead.
Well,
they're looking down on you.
Well,
like
speaking
everybody.
of trolling, we got Father Gabriel now trying to find some use for himself, posting up these prayer circle meeting posts, and Rick trolled him, ripping it down.
Yeah.
Man, I'm telling you, I was like, yes, Rick, yes.
Yeah, absolutely. It was like somebody like signing up, like, have you seen this dog? We don't have time to look for your dog, no.
In the first episode when he was like, I'll come help, and Rick shot him down, I was like, yeah, shoot his ass down. But after all of this time, and he's just trying to find a purpose, and I kind of felt bad for him, you guys. I felt bad. Even Carl was like, Dad.
Yes.
Yeah, that was
Damn,
kinda
Dad.
funny,
He was like,
actually.
Dad, like, how am I being the adult in this scenario right
Yeah.
now? Yeah, true, but I mean, let's just be real. Father Gabriel threw too many wrenches in the spokes of the wheels, causing too much trouble. I feel like putting up papers is talking the talk. You're not walking the walk. You need to walk the walk and prove to me that I need to stop trolling you, or I'm gonna keep trolling you till you tra-la-la your ass out the compound.
Well, you know what? To be fair, though, I feel like Morgan is causing a lot more issues than Father Gabriel at this point. I mean, he's putting their lives more in danger than Father Gabriel ever has. So why are we taking Morgan's side so much and not Father Gabriel's?
Well, no, they can both hold hands and walk their ass out that gate is what I'm saying. So then we got Rick's weapons training with Ron and Carl, and how Carl was really trying to be. Carl was really helpful with Ron. He had these moments of like just encouraging little tidbits that he was like trying to say in a very, sense of, but you could tell like it was landing on Ron's face, like kind of like how Ronda Rousey was acting like with Holly Holm, like you act humble, but you fake. I see it, and it's like, no, that's what humility looks like, girl. Like, I felt like that's how Ron was behaving. He was just like, I don't want to hear this, but it's like Carl's like, no, man, I really genuinely want to help you out, dude.
I think that's the first when I saw that scene. I thought that's when you were right about what your prediction of him doing some kind of crazy stuff with this gun, and they should be wary of him, like teaching him how to shoot. I was like, oh, Sue called it.
Yeah. He asked way too many questions.
Too many
questions.
And the wrong ones.
The
wrong ones. It was almost like, so when you roll up on somebody behind them, like, should you aiming at that? I felt like he was so close.
Should you let them know you're coming?
Yes. Should I wear soft sneakers? Like, should I come up on him on the grassy note? Like, I felt like he was borderline asking those kind of questions that was just like, come on now. But you know what? I blame Rick too. Because you know how to handle guns. You should have took the firing pin out of that gun before you handed it to that boy. And then, like we see later on, when he does get bullets, he can't do nothing with it if the firing pin's gone.
Sure.
Anyways, so then we got, so enough of weak chin. We got Rick, Michonne, Carol, and Morgan having a come to Jesus meeting with Morgan. Like, Morgan, you're going to have to answer to the wolf situation.
I'm so glad that they had that conversation, and I'm glad it wasn't just Rick and Morgan. It was he included Carol in it too. Yeah. Like, I'm not trying to say anything. Like, Rick was like, I'm not trying to say anything that Carol said. Like, Carol's gonna be here, and she was. And I'm glad Michonne had said, it's not as simple as these 4 words. I'm glad it wasn't just us that were like, where do you think? Because I thought out of everybody, Michonne would take the most sympathy on what he was trying to say and where he was coming from.
Right.
But she was like, it's not that easy. Like, you can't just make it that simple. And you can't.
Yeah. Listen, Carol only popped off that one time. That one thing that she said in that entire meeting. So I just find it kind of like, dang, Carol, you were really quiet during that meeting that whole time with everything that man was saying.
Yeah.
And then...
and I love that. I love Morgan's inner battle, too, of, I don't know what's right anymore. I'm glad that he's finally admitting, like, there might be a little flaw in this idea that you have, that all life is precious.
Yeah.
Because there is.
Yeah, because he did say that. He said, I don't even know what's right anymore. Clearly, Morgan. Clearly, you don't know what's right anymore. I mean, I like that Rick confronted him, and he talked about what happened, and that those people came from Alexandria, and he had a partner and stuff like that. And I think that was very strategic of him bringing Carol and Michonne on, because then it's balanced. It's not Rick versus Morgan and I'm right versus you're wrong. It's almost like a panel of people. A panel of people who have opposing or maybe similar viewpoints. But that regardless of them having the differences or arguments or not agreeing on the same thing, that they can see that this discussion is taking place because this is about lives being at stake. I'm glad Morgan admitted that he doesn't know what he's doing anymore, but that he's doing this because he has to, because he can't live any other way from this point on. But like Rick said, he was like, making it now, do you really think that you can do that without getting blood on your hands? And I mean, I agree with Rick. Like, in that world, how do you expect to survive without, taking some people out?
But at
It's
the same
impossible,
yeah. But I mean, I love Morgan's kind of defense of, you could have killed me and you didn't, and I changed, and everybody there has, like he said. I kind of saw his kind of viewpoint as well, but I mean, the way that Rick closed it out was completely right. You can't survive in this kind of world without getting some kind of blood on your hands.
Yeah, that's so true.
Completely agree.
And then we've got the moment after, it's just Rick and Michonne on the porch, and they're having a conversation between the both of them about kind of like coming up with a game plan on how to get the walkers away from the fence, and how he only wants to do that with their people, not the Alexandrians. And Michonne was like, really? And he's like, yeah, we just need to leave them out. They can go sit with Father Gabriel. We're going to handle this. Really?
He's putting up his flyers.
Yes, he's putting up his flyers.
Yeah.
All of us.
Yeah.
Gabriel ain't one of us, but like the rest of us, and then them over there. And I don't know, man. I'm surprised that Michonne was arguing the really, only because she and Glenn and them split off, and they were in charge of making sure the Alexandrians and all of them get home and warn everybody else. And then who does she roll up at the gate with? It's just her and 2 people. Only 3 out of all those Alexandrians that she walked off with survived. So, I mean, doesn't she? I don't know why she can't get that Rick excluding them isn't a matter of like being a dick. Like, I think it's a matter of like, oh, these people are not trained and ready. And I already tried to throw them in the water and they couldn't do it. They couldn't swim.
Right.
What you want me to do, girl?
I mean, I just love how Michonne questions Rick and kind of makes him think in a different kind of perspective and a different kind of light. Because that's what a good friend would do. You know, your good friend would be like, no, I think that you're wrong. Like, tells you like straight up. And that's what I love about Rick and I mean Michonne. And that's what a right-hand man would do, you know? Like, I'm going to question this and this is why I'm questioning it.
Yeah.
You know, should she question it because the Alexandrians are completely useless and retarded? I don't know. I mean, I feel like she's got a little bit more hope. I mean, clearly some of the Alexandrians do want to change because the guy that was having a conversation with Rick at the wall, helping him like fortify the wall, was like, you know, just give us a chance. Like, you just be patient with us. And I think they're kind of seeing it like a whole.
And I thought that too, though, because I was for a moment was like, oh, they should give them this opportunity. The more, the better. It'll help. But then I was like, no, because they've had the opportunity and it's gone wrong every time. So I get where both parties are coming from. Like, there's not really a good, solid ground in between.
Yeah.
They've been given the opportunity. So it's like if you can do it better yourself, like, then why bother? You know what I mean? Like, it kind of felt like one of those situations.
I felt like, why don't you just split the difference? Like, why don't you just leave Rosita and Carol with them to train them while the rest of y'all's group go and try and lure little pieces away? Because Carol and Rosita have the ability and capability to train and multitask and handle their shit, like defend Alexandria. Carol already proved that. 45 minutes, she wrapped it up. Speaking of wrapping it up, we need to go to a commercial break and then we will be back covering the rest, so stay tuned.
See you guys soon.
Just in case you missed it live.
In case you missed it live.
In case you missed it live.
In case you missed it live, this is for you.
I love it. That was freaking oh my God.
I didn't see any of this coming. Yeah, I'm not even gonna lie.
Yeah,
I was like,
How did you get here? No.
Kill him. Kill him. Definitely kill him. We're cool.
Shade. Shade left and right, ladies and gentlemen.
Ladies, let's put your 2 cents in.
Rubbed me the wrong way in a right way.
but you were like, well, we want to know what's gonna happen.
That was cute.
We just want to say we love you all. Thank you so much for your support. You are all seriously the best in the world.
Another beautiful summer at theStream.tv, y'all.
Here we go, guys.
Thank you for being here. Peace out.
Bye, guys.
Welcome back to the Walking Dead After Show, and we're gonna jump right into the moment between Eugene and Enid. I liked how. Not Enid. I'm sorry, Eugene and. I mean, really, Michael? You just gonna have phone calls?
Sorry, I don't know what was happening there. it was Glenn calling.
He's
in.
like,
I
ooh,
told him to
girl.
wait.
It was Enid. Enid was just like, I heard y'all talking crap about me.
Talking.
Eugene and Rosita, I apologize. So Rosita has got Alexandrians and Eugene.
Learning how to defend themselves.
Learning how to defend themselves with machetes.
Say it again.
Machetes. They're saucier. They're saucier weapons.
They're gayer weapons.
No.
You made them sound so gay. That was
I
gayer
didn't
than
mean
me.
to. I was just trying to put, what is it? Yeah, anyways.
accent?
Yeah, I was trying to accent on it. Anyways, so she's trying to teach them, and Eugene keeps getting distracted by walkers, and Rosita gets in his face. Like, she get out of all the there's Alexandrians, there's Eugene, and she gets in his face. And man, we talked about this, because I asked you, I said, is Rosita in the comic books?
Yes.
And you said Rosita is, but they don't go into her backstory at all.
No.
Not yet. And so, I apologize. So, what is her backstory? Is she military? Because the way she's talking, it took me a while to get over her being all up in his face. But she said,
It's kind of good.
Yeah. But she had this one thing that she said that I was just like, ooh, girl, okay. You got me on that one. Where she says he was afraid of dying. And she was like, you're afraid of dying? That's easy. You can die. Like, that's fine. You can lay down and you can die. Living is hard. You keep living. She was like, it's the people around you. She was like, you keep living knowing that they're gone and you're here and you didn't do enough to keep them here. Living is hard.
Yeah.
And, yo, man, I'm not gonna, I say this all the time, that's my soundbite. I'm not gonna lie. Every military person I know, we all feel this way when it comes to our brothers and sisters in arms. When we deploy, when we do anything, we always think about the man or woman to our left and to our right. It's about the people around us. We're not afraid of dying. We're afraid that we let each other down. And so her saying that, I was just like, that came from such a real grounded place of I was like, are you sure she's military? Because the whole huffiness with the machetes and everything, I was just like, I didn't believe her. But then when she said those words to Eugene, I was like, okay, maybe she was guard.
I really think
reserved.
she was talking about Abraham. I think Abraham was on her mind when she was saying all of these things, and it just makes me mad because freaking Abraham is over there trying to screw Rosita, and she's over here like, if he died, I would be heartbroken, and it's typical man.
I will say this. I then, in retrospect, kind of understand why she got in his face, because that incident where Eugene lied to them, and because of his lie, when they were trying to get him to D.C., and everybody believed his lie, that cost a lot of people's lives along the way. And so I felt like that was her opportunity. I was chill, I protected you, we stood up for you, and we allowed you to still stay with us, but I'm just gonna let you know this ends today.
Yeah.
Your nonsensical tomfoolery will go no more. That's what I felt like she was doing. So I was like, okay, that's good for Rosita, but I mean, really, you didn't have to take those two machetes and clang clang near him?
I don't know, he needs a wake-up call.
Yeah, I thought it was great.
Yeah, I thought it was great too.
Yeah, I was like, damn, this is
she needs to
awesome.
get
I was
it.
like, this is a great moment here.
You would have been okay with her clanging two machetes
Not
near
to
your
me.
face?
He just thinks she's hot. He's
Are you
like,
that's
kidding
what
me?
it is.
Absolutely
He's like,
not.
listen, Abraham, you go ahead and cheat on Rosita. I'll take her. That's what Michael's saying. So then so that's the first incident of somebody pulling a weapon, kind of technically on somebody, but you got Enid pulling a gun on Glenn.
Ugh.
Glenn's wanting to take Enid back to Alexandria, and she ain't having it.
No.
And Enid,
Leave her.
Just leave. That's what I said. I said, leave her. I can't. What is happening?
Wherever you see fit. Goodbye.
Just survive somehow. Glenn should have been like, I'm going to survive somehow by leaving your ass right here.
and so then we see finally, and then she says, she was like, yeah, you're an asshole. And he was like, really? I'm the asshole? You pulled a gun on me and I'm the asshole? So
Yeah.
I like that Glenn,
Checked her
right back.
Yeah, totally.
And then as they're walking back to Alexandria, she knifes that walker, and it was nice seeing Glenn way the hell back away from her and just letting her be and doing her thing and seeing her do that. And then she was like, what? She doesn't explain why she does that, but the fact that she puts that walker out, why? That walker wasn't going to hurt anybody,
and I like
but
that
she did.
she said, weren't you worried or weren't you concerned? It was like, he had no legs. I wasn't worried.
Yeah.
He wasn't going to chase after us quickly by any means.
But she did it anyway.
Yeah.
And so to me, I'm just like, I wonder if that's going to come up later on and why she did that. And then she grabs the balloons, which are very key. And then we go to Olivia at the pantry needing to be fired. Let's just put that out there. Olivia, you need to be fired, because how are you Ron gonna go in there, cause a distraction, knock stuff off the cupboards, and then she just shows up and starts picking things up. You don't wonder why they got knocked off? She was just like, no, this happens, and he still bullets.
I was just questioning how he knew which bullets to go in that specific gun, you know? Because I was like, you don't even know how to shoot a gun. I kind of know how to shoot a gun, but if you gave me a gun and was like, put bullets in there, I'd be like, well, which ones? Like, he was like, these, good, bye. I was like, oh, okay, I guess he's an expert all of a sudden.
And you saw how many bullets he grabbed? He had a hand.
He's got a lot of things to accomplish.
I was like, this boy, I'm telling you, you better call whoever you need to call to watch him. He is going to cause disturbances. And sure enough, we see him later on rolling up on Carl. But that gets interrupted. So then we see, we go back to Enid. Enid and Glenn finally reach the outskirts of Alexandria, and she sees all the walkers. She's like, out, peace, I'm out of here. And Glenn's like, whoa. Yeah. You can't just do that. And she says, the world is trying to die. Just let it. And he's like, no. And I think that was the first and only moment I felt anything for Enid, because to get up and walk away and have that wall, that defense mechanism, to be the one who leaves as opposed to being the one who's left behind, that's got to be so daggone deep. And that girl got nobody that understands that.
It takes a lot of strength to do that. It takes a lot of strength to be the one to leave.
Yeah.
You know? I mean, because clearly she's comfortable in Alexandria, so for her to get up and leave, that shows, more strength on her part.
Right.
Yeah. But also nice to see her go.
Yeah, it's nice to see her. And then we've got Spencer. Spencer having a stupid attack, trying to climb he trying to have a Batman moment, and then Tara
Cirque du Soleil.
Yeah, and then Tara trying to save him. And then we've got Morgan getting Denise to help him with the wolf. Carol sees that, goes, follows him. She catches Morgan. And then we've got Ron with a gun, walks up on Carl. Maggie finally sees the balloons, and then the church tower comes down and knocks down the wall.
But there was a lot of foreshadowing to that whole church thing. Like, there was like a lot of stills on it. There was like, decaying, or like, we all knew it was coming. It's a brilliant way to do it, to knock down the wall, because I didn't even guess that's how they would do it. But it's brilliant.
Shingles falling off one at a time.
That is exactly why I do not go to church.
So, because it'll fall on Michael. Yeah. It will. So we've got questions, fan questions. So our first fan question comes from Adele, at Sweet Adele. We all love Adele.
We do love Adele.
Hello.
From Undead Walking, so we've got, do you think Rick blames himself in any way for the walkers in Alexandria, since it was his plan that failed, which has made things so dangerous and deadly?
I don't think that he. I think that he is more the reason why he's acting like such a jerk is because he's so tired of them being so naive and just useless. Because his plan was right. If it had worked, if that horn hadn't have gone off, it would have worked perfectly.
Yeah.
But so something happened, and they were fine up until then. I mean, he's like, the walls are holding. Nobody could have predicted that the watchtower would fall down and break the wall. So. Yeah, I don't think he's really taking it out on them because his plan fell through.
Yeah, I don't think so either. I think, if anything, he's just frustrated as hell. I don't think he blames himself. I think he's frustrated. Have you ever been like the smartest person in the room and everybody else is making mistakes? You see.
Yes, in fact, I have. I'm just kidding.
You dirty rat. But yeah, I mean, it's like one of those situations where you see 10, 12 steps ahead, nobody gonna listen to you. Yeah. And you just like, really? Y'all just not gonna listen to me? I told you this was gonna happen. And look, like if you would have listened to me from the jump, you know? Do we have any other questions or comments from fans or anything? I know somebody else on Twitter had one.
We did have one in the chat earlier that somebody, I can't remember exactly who, was asking, how long do we think Glenn was under that dumpster for? That, I mean, we kind of talked about this earlier. We think a long time just because, I mean, they're weird about with time jumps sometimes, but by the way he was coming out so dehydrated and so in dire need of water, I think he had been, I mean, it was safe to say that he had been there for
like 3 days.
Yeah, a couple days, right?
2 or 3 days, probably.
Yeah, I'd say a few days, not a full week, only because Enid was staying in that building where those walkers were.
Right.
So she would have heard the commotion, and you know what I mean? I think maybe she was out on patrol or something to get more supplies or something like that. Here's one question. So we've got a regular, Ainsley Hopi from Twitter. Thank you for watching again. And she had the question, do you think Glenn will meet his demise next season? And I'm not going to say the rest only because it's kind of a spoiler for people who, you know, haven't read the comics and stuff like that. But do you think Glenn will meet his demise next season? Or maybe this season? What do you guys think?
You know, I thought, and it's actually a great question because I wanted to kind of touch up on this on last episode with that little group of Dwight, and Dwight is in the comics.
Oh, Wade?
Dwight.
Oh, Dwight.
Dwight, the head of with the 3 people.
Oh, Christian Bale.
Yeah, yes. So Dwight is in the comics. He just, they switched him up in the show. He doesn't play this person's right-hand man. He looked a little different, so I was a little thrown off. But I don't think that they're going to go in that way with him. But I think they are going to, you know, I don't know, introduce the saviors. I just don't know how they're going to wrap up this Alexandria story.
Okay. Well, I think because this is going to be, next week is the mid-season finale, and then we go on break, just like Walking Dead. And I don't think just yet, I don't think that's going to happen in the next episode, but I definitely think Glenn is going to be reunited with the group, and I don't think he's going to meet his demise this season. That'd be my guess.
Yeah, I don't think so either. And I would, obviously I've not read the comics, but I would kind of go as far to say I don't think it's going to happen next season either, but that's just my personal opinion because
my
he's taken on...
is something might happen to Carl.
Ooh.
Well, Ron did roll up on him.
Oh, we'll see.
Unless your prediction is somebody else rolling up on Carl. Carl, who are you pissing off? Let us know. Why don't you use the hashtag TWDAS, stay connected, subscribe, like, rewatch us, because we love hearing from you guys. Stay tuned for more of The Walking Dead After Show next week for the mid-season finale. Bye, guys.
Bye, guys.
Yeah. For more of The Walking Dead After Show,
click that button and
subscribe to theStream.tv.